Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We will be examining a day in the life of cleaning service companies like your business. In it, we'll be discussing typical processes and procedures your employees perform daily, common challenges which cleaning services face in their current workflows, how new technologies can address some of these challenges, and new ways to increase accountability, reduce overhead costs, take on more service requests, and increase revenue. I'm excited for the opportunity to share some innovative new ways to improve your processes, get information faster from the field, and increase customer satisfaction. Just a reminder, today's seminar is being recorded, and if you have any questions, please use the chat feature. We will address them at the end. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Scott Barbieri. He is a sales account manager with Axsoft. He's been with us for 5 years, and he has two adorable Boston Terriers, Clutch and Sprocket. Thank you, Scott, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this.
Great. So Scott, I know you're going to talk today about kind of what goes on from different roles and responsibilities within a cleaning service company, but we could probably all agree on a couple of the commonalities that go across kind of the employees, the ones which are out in the quote unquote field, who are working with residential, commercial, and or industrial clients day in and day out. And their day starts with, communicating with the office about the upcoming assignment, driving to customer locations, going through the necessary checklist before they start a job, and then of course performing the actual work, checking in with the office. Maybe it's during the job, maybe it's at the end of the job, documenting that, yes, the service has been completed, taking inventory of all the equipment, the cleaning materials, the solutions, et cetera, they had brought with them and that they're going to be bringing back to either HQ or the next job, and then logging the hours. And of course, the hours and the time could vary depending on the type of work that they are performing and the type of customer too. So we have this in mind, and I'm going to turn it over to Scott to talk a little bit more about the challenges and opportunities to help these employees as well as additional employees within a cleaning services company. Thanks, Scott.
Perfect. Oh, you bet. I'm going to go through a lot of the challenges and solutions that we hear from all of our existing cleaning companies, as well as a lot of the ones that we talk to just get a better understanding of what their days look like and what technology they have in place today to help their field employees do their jobs with a little bit better productivity. So some of the challenges that we hear most common that employees will face while they're preparing for a new assignment is that while they're told what the assignment is or where to go, there's kind of a lack of instructions regarding the assignment's needs and locations, right? Every home that they're going to clean or office that they're working on is probably going to have a few items particular to those homes and offices that, each owner is going to want to have addressed. They also have issues with them not being sure which of the right supplies and equipment to bring to the assignment. And again, this kind of goes back into the first one where if you don't really understand what the job is other than, clean this house or clean this apartment, right, you may come in a little underprepared. And then of course, with the cleaning companies, the rigid scheduling, because they have so many customers in need, it makes it really difficult to arrive on time or complete the service in the designated time. And going back to the last two, of course, if they didn't have the right supplies and they needed to make a quick stop at a store or even all the way back at the office, right, could really slow down the productivity of that day. So there's a few ways you can help your employees become better prepared for any new service calls that they're working on, right? Including detailed instructions and directions with each assignment, which we do that a lot with our dispatching service, where you can put in special notes and select different types of services as each cleaning may be a little bit different from one location to the next. But being able to provide an easy way to instantly communicate with your cleaners through the built-in messaging in the app, as well as monitor conditions and locations of needed supplies and equipment. And that's something I hear from a lot of my accounts, even outside of just the cleaning services, right? Anyone who's doing anything out in the field with supplies like construction or HVAC, anything in those realms as well. And then of course, scheduling the jobs in a sufficient, provide sufficient travel time, as well as more accurate windows for customers will absolutely help them better plan their day and get more jobs completed throughout the week. Some of the challenges those employees will encounter once they are on the job site. Most importantly, there's no way for them to easily document any safety risks at a job site, which could result in costly liabilities, right? They walk in and there was a vase or maybe a table had been broken, or if there were loose tools or anything else just laying around that, could be a safety hazard for them. There's always difficulties with updating work orders and related invoices when a customer requests additional cleaning service during assignment, right? Certainly in a perfect world, all your customers will let you know ahead of time of what they need. But as we all know, and I myself are kind of guilty of this, when the workers in the cleaning company are on site, I'll suddenly have a couple extra tasks that they weren't expecting. And being able to update these work orders with those additional tasks and jobs will help you better invoice for them and have a little bit better collection of what work was actually performed during that time. And then, of course, the trouble a lot of companies have where it comes to tracking time on site versus time spent driving to or from assignments is always great, right? If you tell a client, hey, we're going to spend 30 minutes cleaning your place, and your workers tell you they spent 30 minutes there, but really they spent 15, right? It's going to really cut into the quality of the work being provided. And if you're not aware of these issues, right, all of a sudden you're losing clients and whatnot, and you're not really sure why. So we can help you better understand what those issues are and how to fix them. When it comes to boosting employee accountability during an assignment, there's many ways you can do this, right? For instance, you could provide a way for employees to easily capture and attach photos of risky and unsafe situations, and also share that data in real time with both the office and also your customers, right? Someone may hire you into this job and say it's going to be nice and easy, and they weren't aware of some of the pitfalls that the workers saw when they came in. You can dynamically collect data on additional customer requests and exchange information with the office to revise the invoices, as well as build flexibility into their schedules, given the possibility of additional work being requested or new assignments given out on the fly. And then finally, you can also monitor your employee locations and time spent driving versus cleaning, especially if you're paying them different rates based on the type of work they're doing at that time. Now, what other challenges do employees experience when they're wrapping up the job, right? Not being able to prove that services were completed from a quality control perspective. That's something we see with tons and tons of our customers who are using Teamworks, is they're taking photos before and after to really show the difference in work that was performed, and also to back up what was agreed upon. And I've even seen some customers struggle because they're not able to accept credit card payments on site, right? And then of course you're going back to the office, and the office needs to invoice them, and then someone's writing a check and you got to wait for that check to clear. Whereas when you move into a digital solution and just some newer technology, you can actually do swiping of the credit card payments right then and there on site. So work is complete, you show them the invoice, and you're already getting paid right then and there. And then finally, there's also the challenge of not being able to not being clear as to what the nature and location of the next work assignment are going to be, right? They're jumping around trying to figure out where they're going next or what the next task is going to be. It's going to slow everybody down. All right. So now you've heard of all the challenges, right? But how are you going to help your employees efficiently wrap up a job and prepare for what's next? Right. Some of the easiest ways is to allow your employees to capture and attach photos, customer signatures, which are great for proving jobs were completed, and to customer satisfaction. And this part's really big, as we talked about before and after pictures, right? If you have a digital form on your employees' phones that they can fill out, they can complete that as they're completing the job, have the customer sign off on it right then and there, prove that the satisfaction was done. And then when they hit submit, it's going to go right back into the office, into the Teamworks web portal. You're going to see that right away instead of waiting for the end of the day or maybe end of week before you can start invoicing. And of course, the ability to accept payments for services on site is going to help with your cash flow just by getting those transactions completed quickly. And then another way you can also help is to distribute new assignments based on your cleaners' availability and also their proximity to that job as well. Also giving them a heads up, of course, of what supplies and equipment they may need. Now, those are a lot of challenges and solutions for your field employees, but we know some of the struggles don't stop there, right? Their employees are out there collecting all that information, writing down all the work they've been doing for jobs, getting signatures. But when it comes back into the office, now your office managers really face the brunt of the work at this point, getting all that paperwork sorted, organized, and then starting to bill for invoices, right? So what do you need for your office employees to be able to engage in real time, right? Doing it digitally, providing digital details about your cleaning jobs in real time, make it easy for employees in the field to reach out if they need further instructions, or if they walk in and they know, hey, this job is going to take much longer than expected, right? They can message back to the office. Maybe there's another team or crew that's freed up and they can just send them out and do a job order dispatch to get them sent out right away. Maybe in the office, you're seeking to eliminate duplicate data entry, which is something we hear all the time. With our solution, you can actually integrate it with QuickBooks Online or any other system that allows for that type of integration. And that way your data is ported in from the field, from similar solutions, and it eliminates the hassles and the errors associated with manually inputting all that data. And then of course, office managers could always go to, they may want to schedule recurring service calls, right? So they don't have to recreate the orders every single time that this is coming up. You can just create it once and then set it as a recurring service. So that helps automate out your scheduling and your dispatching for that day and that week. All right, some of the other additional issues that we hear from office managers, aiming to optimize the customer experience, right? It's a huge benefit to be able to provide real-time updates to customers as to when employees are en route and when the assignment is completed. Our system will allow you to automatically send text messages or email notifications, while employees are, they accept a job and they're en route to it. It can send off a text message, say, hey, we'll be there in 20 minutes. And then same thing, get a notification when the assignment is complete as well. Some of the other ways are needing to keep your expenses and costs in check, right? That's a big one for any company, regardless of what your field is. But using the data that's being collected and provided in real time can help you to identify new ways to reduce fuel consumption by company vehicles, your paper costs, and of course, any unnecessary overtime. And then lastly, you have experiencing difficulties in customer loyalty, right? Again, if you're not sending surveys out to your customers, if you're not giving them any way to provide you with feedback, you really don't know, what they have thought about the work or who they could refer additional work to you. So you can offer incentives to existing customers, send out reminders when regular scheduled cleaning services are overdue. Now you can do this through our TeamWorks platform. And the way this is done is this is an all-in-one platform where all the features that you see here, like job dispatching, digital and wireless forms, mobile timekeeping, GPS tracking, you can do that on fleet equipment or any assets or anything that are easily stolen, we can GPS track. And then we can also do handset tracking, of course. And then you have the intercompany messaging, which allows your dispatchers and those in the office to message right into the TeamWorks app that your employees are using for their job orders and their forms, so they're getting them right away. And then of course, we allow you to collect mobile payments in partnership with Stripe for your credit cards. Now, this kind of gives you an idea of what the apps look like and what some of the different features are. Now, we've been in this business for a really long time. We know a lot of our customers are wearing gloves or they have all their cleaning materials and that in their hands. So we really want to make it easy for them to fill out information from the app, in those circumstances. So here you can see, like, on the customer authorization page, which is a nice representation of what a form would look like. You can see how the boxes are all spread out. Check boxes are easy to tap on. And you can even collect the signatures and pictures and everything right in that same form. So everything is collected together and sent back in near real time. On the mobile timekeeping piece, right, you have your timesheet right there. If someone is clocked in, or if they're like me and they're going out to lunch, right, I may clock out for lunch and then half an hour later, I have absolutely no time what time I clocked out for that lunch. I can just look at my phone, say, okay, my lunch started at 12 p.m. I got about 30 more minutes left, and then I can just kind of keep tabs on it. The mobile timekeeping is nice because you can even set it up for what we call crew timekeeping. So if you have supervisors out there who have multiple people working for them, you can have those supervisors clock everyone in and out as well. And then you can see some of the additional core features that we have, like the job order dispatching, the timekeeping and forms, which we've talked about. And you can even see we have things like OSHA compliance forms preloaded on there. You can use them right off the bat with the other 250 pre-built forms, or of course you can edit them as you need to. And then you can see job dispatching and GPS tracking, which kind of go hand in hand, so you know where all your crews are. And then you also see in real time what how far along their job are, so you know when you can reschedule someone, or if you have an emergency call come in, you know exactly who's about to finish their work and where are they. And of course, you can schedule them out as necessary. All right, so we have a number of commercial cleaning companies here. So we pulled some information from one of them to kind of give you an idea of how they were using Teamworks. So a cleaning company that we currently service is using Teamworks to enhance its quality control and also to ensure project was on schedule for its restaurant-related customer base. They're using the digital forms so they can track the progress and verify that the project was completed and met all the customer expectations. They're using dispatching schedule to help plan out employee tasks in advance and allow their staff to be as productive as possible during their day-to-day. And you can even see in the little picture that we have up here, right? You can double stack different jobs depending on their importance for it. So as soon as someone finishes one, they can move on to another. And then you can see the different color coding, so you know when something is complete versus dispatched. And then of course, someone who is running late on their order. Now, if you're doing residential cleaning, right, which is also a lot of work, the residential cleaning companies can use Teamworks in a couple different ways. The job dispatching course is huge to let everyone know what their jobs are for the day, for the week, and for the month, but also giving you that insight into how those jobs are being completed, who's about to complete a job, who has room for an extra job for when somebody calls in. And maybe you're even able to kind of tighten up their schedules a little bit more, fit in an extra job, per day or per week per cleaning crew. QR codes have become really big. We have tons of customers that are using them in a variety of ways. But even if they're scanning a QR code that lets them know, hey, this room uses a certain type of cleaning materials, or there's certain items that maybe the owner doesn't want you to clean, to leave it to them. You could scan those QR codes, mark off what work you've done, and grab that information much quicker. And then of course your mobile payments, again, powered by Stripe, enabling you to grab your customers' payments while you're on site and not having to go through the whole invoicing process. We've really found that our customers appreciate the faster response time, more accurate service windows, and of course the convenience of being able to pay mobilely. And with Teamworks, you're also going to help them reduce travel and fuel costs as employees were routed to new customers' locations, right, powered by Google Maps. And then this is, again, going to be based on availability and proximity, as well as giving them a heads up as to what supplies and equipments they're going to need for this. Now, outside of just having an all-in-one Teamworks portal to kind of show you where all your crews are up to and kind of give you a story and day by day of what their job looked like, we have additional benefits that come with it as well. So we have an entirely dedicated customer experience team that's here on site with us in Tampa, Florida. Their job is always to offer some additional premier benefits to you to help you gain an immediate and impactful return on your investment on this. So some of the benefits that become included with Teamworks is free API integration. And we will give you, depending on the size of your account, up to $18,000 a year annually for professional or managed services. So these are your API integrations into ADP, QuickBooks, and various other programs. It gives you a personalized onboarding. So your onboarding and your trainings are there for the life of your account, coming off of that concierge dollars for you. So once your account is active, it's automatically going to trigger customer care to reach out to you and start doing that onboarding, right? This is not something that happens weeks or months later. It's going to happen right away, so you can get in there and trained on it and using the service as quick as possible. You can have training that's a whole overview of the whole system, or if there's just specific modules or features that you want, like you want to know a lot more about the forms and dispatching, you can schedule that training as well. And then we're going to send you monthly account analysis that show weekly and quarterly reports and usage as well. And then we also have the monthly app usage reports too, kind of let you know who's using the app, how they're using it out in the field. That way, if you're seeing, some of your employees aren't submitting forms as quickly as they can, it just really kind of helps you address that much more quickly. And then also right now, for a very limited time, if you want to start driving your ROI today, we're offering a 14 free day trial on our Teamworks platform. So you can get in there, start recreating some forms, do a little testing with it. And then as you get closer to your 14 days, just reach out to us and we'll get you running on it going forward for your business. All right. So do we have any questions today that have come up?
We do, Scott, and thank you for the very thorough deep dive into what cleaning companies are facing and what are some opportunities for technology to help streamline and automate some of their operations. First question is, does Teamworks help cleaning companies in residential and commercial work, or is it just, one side of the cleaning industry?
Oh yeah, wonderful question. So no, the software is very versatile, so it can absolutely be used for both residential and commercial. And it's doing this because it's going to help both sides of that business digitize, streamline, and reduce the costs of many of their regular processes that they need to perform every day, right? Like the paperwork they're filling out, and then of course that manual entry when it gets back into the office.
Great. The second question is, there's a lot of paperwork flying around all the time, whether it's in the office or from the field back to the office, et cetera. What are some documents? What is the paperwork that can be digitized?
Yep. So there's a ton that you can do. And we hear that, the piece of paperwork flying around the office and, the vans and all that all the time. So some of the biggest ones I see are, of course, their work orders, right? Anything they're filling out where they're on site with the customer or they've been told to clean or do certain tasks, right? You can recreate all that paperwork. So you're doing it digitally with your pictures and your signatures attached right to it. We've seen customers who are now digitizing all their invoices. And again, with some of those integrations, this can be almost automatic for you because it'll just pull it right from the work order or standalone forms. We're starting to do a lot more with inventory management. So you can see, either what type of chemicals were used, or maybe you want to know how much of each chemical was used. You could start recording that as well. Your timesheets, of course, right? You've got mobile timekeeping built right in. And again, you can do that for single individual employees, or you can do the crew timekeeping where you have your supervisors clocking in all your workers. All of that's can be digitized so that they can pull it up and review at any time. And it's also going back into the office in real time too. So if anyone in the office sees a mistake, like maybe somebody forgot to clock out, they can address it right then and there instead of trying to scramble, a day or two before payroll. Anything safety or OSHA related, right? Those are all like predetermined documents that are sent over. You can recreate them, paste the important parts in there, and then you can use form transfers to send those new safety and OSHA guidances out to everyone in the field and have them accept it. And then of course, there's plenty more, right? Change orders. If someone is injured on site, or if there's they're using a company vehicle and they get into a fender bender, right? You can rebuild all those forms and collect that information right away.
Okay, thank you, Scott. And we have one last question, which is someone is interested in growing their business, but at the same time, they want to make sure that they continue to satisfy and delight their current customers. So how can they take on more projects, more clients without sacrificing the quality and the reputation already established with current customers?
Yeah, absolutely. And moving into something digital like this versus paper processes or just, kind of your old school processes, that's really your end game goal for us, right? We want to see you picking up an extra job a day, an extra job a week per employee. So being able to do that, there's a couple different ways, but first and foremost, having everything collected on, one form, one work order, one portal really helps you analyze the workloads in real time. And to distribute your assignments more evenly, right? As you're looking at the schedule, you have a customer calls in, they need, an emergency cleaning right away. You can look at the jobs everyone is doing. You'll see where they are, within that job in real time. Who, employees will finish quickly, and you can immediately assign them a new job, right? Picking up something where maybe they had, 20 or 30 minutes of downtime that they're going to have between jobs. And now you can send over a new job like, hey, we just picked this up, get your job completed, head on over there. And you're already making additional money every day because you can see those gaps in what their schedule looks like. This also helps you kind of ensure the right types of cleaning supplies and products are on hand. right? This may not even just be sending it in the middle of the day, but when you're looking at how many jobs they have coming up in the calendar view, you can say, okay, we know this is gonna be a heavy cleaning day. Let's get them some extra supplies now. That way they don't have to return to the office in the middle of the day. They don't have to drive over to Lowe's or some other store to buy additional cleaning. It'll give you an idea to check the levels of the cleaning supplies before they head out for the day. And then just more kind of like it gives them the ability to identify gaps or lapses in productivity in real time, right? Because you're going to have the GPS, backing up where they were, how long they were on site. You're going to have the timekeeping, letting you know, how long they were clocked in for the day. So we've definitely found customers who will have their crews out there and they think their crews are doing a really good job, but we're finding that they're, spending 15, 20, 25 minutes after a job, just kind of listening to music or running off to a Starbucks or, just anything that's not really efficient to their work day. And it allows you to address that, do some coaching and pick up that extra time that you've been losing every day. And then lastly, one thing I like a lot that our customers have been doing is they've been gathering customer feedback through some of our various forums. So they can really hear from their clients as to what their clients thought of the work did, which of course, anytime you're getting something positive back in, that gives you an opportunity to talk about referrals. And of course, more word of mouth is one of the best ways to generate additional business. But those surveys allow you to hear from your clients and see where they may come up with their own opportunities to kind of fine tune or optimize your service, right? You take their feedback, you implement some of it, and things are running a lot smoother. And again, you're upping the quality of the jobs, and you're giving yourself opportunities to find those referrals and that word of mouth to bring in additional business into your business itself. Was that the last of the questions?
That was the last of the questions. Thank you, Scott, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. For everyone who joined us, we hope that this has provided some food for thought on how technology can streamline workflows and boost productivity and, of course, profitability for your company. There's a couple things just to let everyone know that we are happy to provide you with a free custom demo. You could visit our URL, which is on the next slide, or call us at the 888 number below. And we're happy to speak to you, learn more about your business, what you struggle with, what you're looking to achieve by the end of the year, as well as into the new year. Thank you, Scott, once again, and thank you, everyone, for your time and interest today.
Yeah, thank you, Anna Marie. Thank you for having me on, and thank you, everybody, for listening through this presentation.